Again, YouTube fans. I just wanted to make this video. I've made the last video talking about my experience of having excuse me for the I'm trying to get this thing sorted. I can't do it this way. Are you serious? Anyways, excuse me about that. I just wanted to talk about a topic. I wanted to talk about how I believe that Kevin Samuel was murdered. He was it was an inside job, and somebody plotted to get him killed. And now I shared in my previous video I had a vision slash a dream about Kevin Samuels being tortured in hell by demons. But when I watched the video, it was very choppy, and it was hard. I guess it was hard for people to hear me. I didn't get any comments saying that they couldn't hear me, but maybe I'm gonna have to remake that video over again. But I put in my Cash App into the title. I'm having a hard. I'm struggling right now. Not really per se like it's really hard, but I've been having a hard time finding a job, and I need some. Any type of donation will be gladly appreciated. If you can, please donate to the Cash App. $ being resilient. Anything could help. $10, $15, $20, 40. Anything, I would gladly appreciate it because I'm having a hard time, and I'm trying to build my platform, and I'm trying to create my own business, and I'm trying to be independent because society don't really like to promote a black person to get back on his feet. And I'm gonna make a separate video about how as a black man society is really set against you to fail, and they will do everything in their power to hold you back and not reach your full potential, not help you to reach your full potential. Because even with my qualifications, even with my credentials, I'm still having a hard time landing a job, and I believe race has a lot to do with it. There are other factors with it too, but race is one of the main, if not the main factors, when it comes down to employment decisions, and the employer making the choice to move forward with my application. But please donate to the Cash App. I need help financially, but I'm gonna leave it at. I'm gonna. Besides that, I want to talk about the topic at hand. I want to talk about how Kevin Samuel's death was an inside job. This is the reason why I believe he was murdered. First thing first, Kevin Samuel was supposedly, allegedly, with a so-called escort that he met, and it was online, and supposedly he paid this escort for a particular service because he mentioned in his videos how he has a rotation of women that he deals with, so he pays women for sex. And this so-called escort that he met online was someone he previously known, because you could tell based on the way he reacted in the video when he was talking to this so-called escort. He was like, "No, no, no, I'm trying to protect you." Tucker said when you saw Kevin Samuel in here, was he wearing a suit? No, bro. He was not wearing a suit, man. That's hilarious. No, I couldn't. Honestly, he wasn't wearing anything. I saw it was terrifying to say, but he didn't have any clothes on. He was just like dark. It was just darkness surrounding him, because in hell it says that it's complete darkness. So there was no light. It was just complete darkness, and he was in a pit. But I don't know about the suit thing. That's hilarious. That's the thing. It's you have all these riches and fame on this earth, but when it's appointed a man to want to die, after that comes the judgment. Um, he was surrounded by complete darkness, and I just remembered the look on his face, the look of like terror, the look of fear. Like he didn't know what was going on. He didn't know where he was, and he looked completely confused and baffled, and like in a state of shock. And then all I remember is like the demons were just throwing spears at him, throwing spears at his head, just torturing him, and he was in extreme agony. And he was just calling out like help, help, and it was like there was no rest, there was no hope for him. It was like it was over. It's like it was over for him. There was no way he could get out of that situation. And there was just throwing spears at his head. I just remember his head getting like torn to pieces. The spear was just puncturing his head, and he was just in extreme agony. Because I had another experience which I will share in a separate video of how when you're in hell, it's just like the pain that you feel is far more intense because your spirit senses is a lot more stronger than your physical senses. So you see things more intensely, you feel things more intensely, you hear things more intensely, and he's definitely feeling everything. And the demons were just having, it's like they were taking turns piercing him his head, throwing spears and torturing him, and they were just enjoying it. It was sad to say, and I don't see him wearing a suit. All I remember is seeing the outline of his spirit. It was just surrounded by complete darkness, and that's basically what happens when you're in hell. You're like internally separated from God. So God is light, and in hell there is no light because God's presence is not there. So God is not gonna dwell amongst the dead. So his spirit was there, and all I see was darkness. All I saw was darkness surrounding him. His soul was there, but it was just complete darkness. There was no life. So yeah, that was a very terrifying dream. I'm not just saying this just to say this. This is what I've experienced, and I'm gonna share my experience. He was being tormented by demons in hell, and he died in his sins. But unfortunately, like I was saying before, the dream that I had, I looked into the stuff, and I'm like, he died in his sins, like I was saying, and the topic I was talking about, like I believe he was killed. Yeah, yeah. I remember watching that video when he was joking, saying, "I'm going to hell, and all you guys are going with me." I remember watching that video, and that's why you got to be careful what you say. Thank you for reminding me about that because life and death lies in the power of the tongue, and he prophesied that in his videos. He spoke that into existence, saying, "Oh, I'm going to hell, and all you guys are joining with me." And I watched the video, and I was like, was he joking? Like, was he just saying that just to say that? And I said it to myself. I was like, God, where is he? I thought about it in my mind, and I was like, God, did he make it? And then I was sleeping, and I just had a glimpse of him in hell, and the demons were just throwing spears at him, like, and the spears was like hitting his head, they were just tormenting him, and they were just taking turns doing it, and it was pleasurable for them to see him in agony. And I'm like, wow, that is crazy that he prophesied that, like he put that out there in the atmosphere, saying, "Oh, I'm going to hell. Are you all joining? All something like you all gonna be joining with me? You all gonna be there with him, something like that." The so-called fans that watches his show never thought anything of that, but that's why you got to be careful of the things you say, because life and death lies in the power of the tongue. And he never repented of his sins. Like I said in my previous video, the video was a little bit choppy, but I was saying along the lines like he never repented, he never turned away from his sins, and he never gave his life to Christ. And like I said, it's appointed a man to die, but after this comes the judgment. And his soul is eternally separated from God. And all I remembered in the vision was that he was in this pit, this huge pit, and he was completely surrounded by darkness. And the first look on his eye was a complete state of shock, like confusion, bewilderment. He didn't know where he was. He was like, "Where am I?" And the demons just like was mocking him, saying, there's no hope. They're like laughing at him, saying, "You ain't going. This is it. This is where your resting place is gonna be." And they were just throwing spears at him, and it, like I said, the spears punctured his head, and they were just sticking him, and he was in extreme agony. All I just remembered is that it's like a dream or a vision of this is it, it was just short. It wasn't that long of a dream, but I remember getting a glimpse of it, and I was just saying to myself, "Oh my God, it's sad, man. What happened to this man?" And when I looked at the facts and seen everything, and I put everything together, I really believe it was an inside job. I believe that several people were involved with this man's murder, because in this video, when he was talking to this woman, he was saying something along the lines that I was trying to protect you, you know, because this so-called escort was about to walk in his video, and he like prevented her, saying, "Where you going?" And you could obviously tell that this woman was under the influence of alcohol, and she was like just not acting normal. And when he ended up passing away, there was a record of the 911 call that took place, and in the phone, in the 911 call, during the conversation, you could tell this woman was not experienced with any of the stuff that she claimed she had. And she claimed to be a so-called nurse, and she was not performing any CPR on this man. She was being very disrespectful to the 911 operator that was trying to give her instructions on how to properly perform CPR. And they were asking for information from her to be able to get the ambulance there, the address to get the help to make help to get help to arrive there on time. But she was not being cooperative. She was not providing any type of address to the ambulance for the ambulance. She was being very divisive, and she was not being, you know, helpful and straightforward with giving instructions so they could help save his life. And when you know, when you're performing CPR, because I work in the medical field, like the chest compressions that you do, it requires effort. You're not just gonna be able to talk on the phone while you're performing CPR. And you could tell that she wasn't performing CPR on this man. And you know, when it came down to it, like she basically neglected this man, and that would led to his demise. But before that, I strongly believe that she put something in his drink. Like she spiked something in his drink. She gave him some type of substance that sped up his heart rate, that caused him to have a cardiac arrest. Um, she most maybe had initially gave him a suppressant that made him weak, and then she went ahead and just put something in him in the system that kind of led to his death. And I believe there's several so-called YouTubers that are involved that played a role in killing him, because I find it very strange that they discovered there was only $1,000 left in his account. And we know, you know, Kevin Samuels was making a lot of money, because every single stream that he did, he was making at least $10,000 every single stream he did, because you got people that were giving a huge amount of donations. He was getting a lot of super chats, and he was getting he had a lot of people becoming members, becoming becoming a membership of his channel. So he was getting a lot of money, and you not even talking about the ad revenue he was getting to as well. And then the consultation that he did with, you know, his so-called fans. I do believe that, yeah, he did have his money in other investments, but I find it hard to believe, you know, that he just had $1,000 to his account, because, you know, being that he was making so much money, it's just strange to me that only $1,000 was so called in his account. And I'm sure he had, you know, investments in how do you call it, in certain stocks and all that, exchange and stuff like that, and insurance and stuff. But at the same time, like, I believe that he was making more than, I believe that he made so much money that there's no way he could just have $1,000 left in his name. I believe it was a very it was very fishy to me that they only find $1,000 in his name. Something just doesn't add up. There's a lot of people that play a part in this, and greed is the ultimate reason why he was being targeted and he was ultimately killed. And yeah, like you said in the chat, he was making at least 3 to 10,000. But like I said, he was making a lot of money. Like every single stream, my honest opinion, I think the rough estimate he was making at least 2,000 5,000 per stream. I believe he was making at least sorry, not 10,000. Let me tell you why I think he was making at least 10,000 per stream. The amount of donation that came in, it was ridiculous. Like you had people that were donating, even though they were members of his channel, because to become a member, I think he's like you gotta pay 5, but some people were like paying more, and he was getting like multiple donations. Like people were giving him $100 super chats, 200, 300, 400, 500, multiple. Like I'm not even talking about in a matter of hour. Like every single minute, you're seeing multiple donations coming in this chat. I'm like, this man is racking in a lot of money. He was just people just like pouring in a lot of donations, and then you got the consultation that he did, and he was charging like $5,000 at least per consultation, and he was getting a lot of well-known people, financially secure people that was giving him a lot of money doing these consultations. And he was so-called image consultant, and he was getting a lot of people donating in his chat. So yeah, he was getting a lot of money from these donations. So I believe he was making at least the like $10,000 per stream he did. I don't think he was making less than that, because this man was making bank. So that's why I said I find it really hard to believe that he only had $1,000 to his name after his path, after he was supposedly killed. I believe somebody played a role in that, in taking his money out of his account, and they need to investigate further into this so-called escort that he was dealing with. And how is it that she was able to leave the crime of the scene and not being investigated thoroughly to find out who is she, what she had to do with Kevin Samuel, and what transpired during that time that she was with him, and what took place? Because there's a lot of unanswered questions. Like, first of all, you could tell that this woman was very distraught, obviously distraught over the phone, and she was being very uncooperative. She was not being friendly. She was not being submissive. These so-called standards that Kevin Samuels has for women, she didn't fit any of those standards. And it's funny how he was talking about how black women are uncooperative, they're not friendly, they're not fit, and they're not submissive. But yet this so-called escort that he was allegedly with was not fitting any of those criteria that he wanted from a woman. And he was also hyping up the Hispanic community women, saying how they're far better off than black women. But this so-called alleged escort that he was messing with didn't fit any of that. In fact, she basically neglected him, because she didn't perform any CPR on him. And when the 911 operator was trying to get information about where they were located, she was just not providing any of that information. She was being very rude over the phone. She was not being cooperative. So she basically let him down. Kevin was trying to wear her out, but taking Red Bull and Viagra on his old heart didn't work. I believe that also could be a factor too. The Red Bull, Red Bull, I've known those energy drinks are not good for you, because I've taken them before, and it increases your heart rate. And I realized that I had to stop drinking those things, because increases your heart population, it leads to irregular heartbeat. And if you take it regularly on a day, like, because we see on every live stream that Kevin Samuel had, he was drinking Red Bull. And that's not good for your heart. That puts a lot of pressure, especially when you get older. Your heart is not as able to work efficiently as it used to be when you was younger. And being that he's at an older age, he was putting drinking that Red Bull, and taking this Viagra put a lot of pressure on your heart. But I also believe that even with that, I don't think that was the deciding factor that led to his cardiac arrest, because there was no signs that I saw in that video that made me believe that he had heart related problems previously. Like, I didn't see any signs that stood out to me that led me to believe that he was having a heart problem. Like, I didn't see any sweating. I didn't see any signs of being fatigued. I didn't see anything that stood out to me to let me believe, okay, something is wrong with his health. So he appeared to be healthy to me before he allegedly got with this so-called escort, and then things took a turn for the worse. So I believe something happened in that apartment when he was with this so-called escort that led to his demise, and ultimately, caused his death. And I believe that he was killed. I believe it was an inside job. Like, it was not just one person that was involved. It was a collaborative effort. Like, several people was involved in causing his demise. And I believe it was an inside job, because a lot of holes. There's a lot of holes in the story, even down to the 911 report of like what took place. There was conflicting stories. When you see conflicting stories, like things are not adding up, that's a huge red flag. For instance, there was like one was saying that they found this one report was that they found him lying, he fell on top of her. Then the other report saying that he didn't fall on top of her. There was another story about how he was one was that he wasn't breathing, one was that he was breathing. Is a certain things just not adding up. And when the 911 call, when I listened to the 911 call in its full entirety, like, a lot of things were just not adding up. Like, especially with this woman who claimed to be a nurse. If she was a so-called nurse, she would have known how to properly perform CPR to save this man's life. She would have known how to conduct herself as a nurse, because the nurse have to know how to handle those type of situations, because they have been trained properly how to deal with emergencies. Because I have a sister that's a nurse practitioner, and she have dealt with patients that had so-called cardiac arrest, and it's not something you could just, like, oh, like, you just train you one time, and it's like they train you multiple times to teach your body how to react to those situations. I've worked in the hospitals. I've been in that type of environment, and when it comes down to doing that type of work, you have to know in that situation how to keep your nerves in check, because you've seen it so many times. You've been in those circumstances, and your body just know how to react to it. So I can't. I find it hard to believe that she was a nurse, and the fact that she claimed to be a nurse is another red flag, because if she was a nurse, she would know how to handle herself. You could tell on the phone that she was obviously frantic. She was panicking, and then when somebody's panicked, it's like you could tell that they have a sense of guilt about them. It's not really necessarily that, because if you're a nurse and you train how to do it, why would panic happen? Like, you would know automatically how to react. Like, it was just, your instinct would kick in. Especially when you worked in that type of environment before. So I don't believe it was because she was a nurse. She claimed to be a nurse, but I don't believe she was a nurse, and that's one reason why I believe it was an inside job. Like, there's several YouTubers that are involved with this situation, and I believe they all collaborated and came up to with some type of story that could try to make it sound believable, to make it appear that Kevin Samuel died of natural causes, which I don't believe. People gonna say, oh, they're gonna speculate and say it was because he was drinking Red Bull. But if that was the case, right? Let's just look at that whole situation by itself. If it was, let's say it was the Red Bull and the Viagra that caused him. Um, if it was the Red Bull and the Viagra that caused him to die, right? Why is it that during this whole time when Kevin Samuels to do his live streams, right, and we see him drink the Red Bull, his Red Bull all the time, why we never seen any sign of him having any type of heart related problem before that? We never seen him ever saying, "Oh, my heart, my chest hurt," or we ever seen him sweating or show any signs of like having a cardiac arrest. We never seen him do any of that. I know he drink Red Bull on a regular basis, but during the live stream, I've never seen him ever showing any signs of having any heart related problems. Like him saying, him just abruptly stopping the stream and saying, "I can't continue with this anymore. My chest hurts," or "I can't breathe properly," or like he's breathing in and out like hard, or he's sweating. If we ever like, that's why I'm finding it hard to believe that that's the cause of his death, because this man appeared to be healthy. Let me see this chat. By the way, please donate to the Cash App. $ being resilient. I could use some donation. I'm having some difficulties with finding a job, and I want to make a separate video of how I've been discriminated against, and I have a lot of story to share, and I want to become my own independent person and be my own boss, but I need some help. I want to start my own YouTube platform, but I need help. If you could donate to the Cash App, I will gladly appreciate it. Um, Anything will help. $10, $20, $40, $50, anything could help. So please donate to the Cash App. It's in the title of the video. Being resilient. But let me see. You said she was a nurse. All right, she was the type of nurse to milk Kevin dry. Yeah. Yo, sorry for the joke. It's okay, bro. And yeah, exactly. She was milking Kevin of all his money because DJ Academics reached out to this alleged prostitute, this so-called nurse. He reached out to her personally, and she was charging him a fee of $5,000, saying, "For you to talk to me, you're gonna have to pay me a flat fee of $5,000." And you could tell, okay, all right, if she feel that she okay, if she feels strongly in her heart that she was not responsible for his death, why you need to charge a fee of $5,000? Wouldn't you just come out and just say what really happened and what really took place during the time that you was with Kevin Samuels and what really transpired? You wouldn't have to prove yourself because you know you're not telling any lies. Like you just being honest about what took place. But if there's a sense of guilt, right? People will show it to you. Like you got to look at their actions. Look at the things they do. Look at the things they do. Honestly, look at the things they do. Look at their actions, man. Their actions will speak louder than words. And the fact that she's charging DJ Academics $5,000 for her to have a discussion, and then she has a lawyer, and the lawyer doesn't want her to speak, is saying she's lawyered up, and that she's gonna sue people who are coming out accusing her of doing something. People will show you who they really are based on the things they do. And the fact that she's coming out and just flat out saying, "I'm going to sue people who are accusing me of doing something I didn't do," shows you a sense of guilt. Shows you that there's a sense of guilt, because if she knows in her heart truly that she's innocent, she don't need to act this way. She don't need to charge him any flat fee of $5,000 just to explain what really happened, because at the end of the day, the truth will come out. Like once the reports come out, because the autopsy report comes out, once the toxicology reports come out, and we really see what really happened. If you honestly believe that you were not involved with his death, then you will have nothing left to prove, because the evidence will show that you was not directly involved with his death. But when you're guilty and you know that something is not, you did something that was wrong, then you're gonna say, "Oh, I need to lawyer up because I need to protect myself, and I'm gonna come after anybody who tried to defame my character." So yeah, I really believe that she was involved with his death. Not just she, but there were several people that were allegedly involved with this man's death. Because listen, Kevin Samuels worth like at least 3 to 5 million, and every stream he was making at least $10,000. This man was racking in a lot of money, and his platform was growing exponentially. Even with him having over 1 million subscribers, he was still getting a lot of people that were coming in, pouring like new subscribers that were coming in by a lot. So this man was very popular. He had a huge, a large platform and a big influence. And some people don't like to see you shine, and some people don't like to see you do well, and there's a spirit of envy that comes on people, come upon people, to try to like take whatever is rightfully yours. So his so-called friends that he associated with, they were a huge bunch. They were like a bunch of fake people, and they could have just said, you know what, we're gonna come together and we're gonna do what we can to make sure we get a piece of that pie, at whatever means necessary. You get me? And that's what you. That's why there's a saying that the love of money is the root of all evil, and money also is the root of all evil, but especially the love of money, because when it comes down to money, people will kill, steal, and rob. They will do whatever they can just to get a piece of that. Money gets a piece of the money, and even people claim to be a supporter of Kevin Samuel. Were not really there because they like him. They're only there because of what he has to offer. And I believe these so-called friends of his were not his true friends. They were only there to gather followers of from him. And don't you find it very strange that after his passing, you got these so-called YouTubers that claim to be his friend that were making videos, multiple videos about his passing, and if it's a real friend, right, that was affected, that was really hurt, affected by the passing of your friend, right? You wouldn't have your donations. You would have canceled your what do you call it, the money coming in. You would have canceled the money, the donations from coming in. You would have shut down your super chats. You wouldn't get any of the money. You would be like, no, do not give me any donations because I lost a friend that's true and dear to me, and for respect for him, I don't want any donations. Or you would have did something like created a GoFundMe page to get money to give towards his funeral. But you didn't do that. All these so-called friends of his were milking the shit out of his death. Like, they were just making multiple videos about his death, and you see all the super chats coming in, all the donations, you know, everything coming in. And yeah, they're just milking his death, man. So you could tell that, they don't really care about this man. They were just all plotting against him, and it's disgusting. It's honestly disgusting. Let me see what you said, Dennis. Yeah, is using Kevin's name in every stream to run up the super shot. Yeah, man, that man he's a snake, bro. You can tell this man is all about money. He really don't care anything about Kevin Samuel. He doesn't give a rat ass about this man. That man is all for himself. He's all about him. He could care less about who Kevin Samuels was. In fact, he wants what Kevin Samuel has, and that's the followers, the influence, and as much as a lot of things Kevin Samuels did that I don't agree with, Kevin Samuel had charisma. I don't care what anybody say. Kevin Samuel had charisma. He had a way of doing things that drew you in. Like, people gonna claim how he did sorcery, he did all of this, he did all of that. But at the end of the day, Kevin Samuel did it in a way that was unique. I've never seen any other YouTuber that was able to draw in so much followers by the way they presented themselves. He did it in a way that was so professional, where it's like you dress professional, you had a nice setup, and everything was just well done and well put together. That just that caused a lot of people to want to follow him, and people hated him from that. People hated him for that. I'm gonna just say the truth. You have all these YouTubers that talk about how they really cared about him, but they would call them there were certain things that was questionable about what he said, and I can agree. He exploited the black community for his own gain, but at the same time, Kevin Samuel was able to do it in a way that I've never seen any YouTuber did. Like, he made a way to garner a lot of attention. So he was successful in doing that. So I can't take that away from him, and I can't take away from the fact that he was unique in the way he presented himself to the audience. But I believe also he exploited the black community for his own gain. Um, and at times, I think originally his intentions was good, but as he got very famous, like it got to his head, and I believe the fame and all that ultimately caused him to commit evil. And the enemy, the thing about it is that once you give your soul, you sacrifice your soul to the devil, he's gonna come to collect his payments. And his he was sacrificed, and the spirit of death came to collect what was rightfully theirs. And that's what I think happened. But let me read this comment. I think I read it already. Let me see. Yeah, but I agree with you. This man, I don't want to say his name, but this so-called struggle streamer, the guy that claims that he's a so-called lawyer, the one that was a so-called rapper. This man is all in it for himself, all in it for himself, man. This man is nothing but a snake. You know, a matter of fact, I call them a shark because a shark, once they get a taste of that blood, they come back for more. A snake, sometimes a snake will give you a warning sign, and tell you to back off, and you gotta be like, okay, I'll leave the snake alone. But a shark, once they get a taste of that blood, they're coming back for more. They're coming back for more, and he's a shark. These YouTubers are a bunch of sharks. Like, once they got a piece of that pie, they want more of this shit. Because look at it. Why is it that you're constantly making videos about this man passing? And then you getting all these people pouring a lot of donation into your super, to your channel. You getting multiple super chats, and they put in a lot of. And you're not saying, you know what? I don't want any of I don't want any of your donations. Please do not give me any of the super chat. This is about a serious situation, serious topic. I don't want any money because my friend passed, and I find it very distasteful to take money. But he never once said anything like that. In fact, he's just milking the situation, just constantly making videos about Kevin Samuel. And the only reason why he's getting these super chats because he's putting Kevin Samuel's name in his title. And a lot of people watched Kevin Samuels, and he had a lot of followers. A lot of people were subscribed. He had over 1 million subscribers, and he would have been at 2 million at the end of the year, most likely. He would be at 2 million. He's still getting subscribers even after his passing. He's still getting people that's subscribing to his channel. So these YouTubers that are claiming to be his friend are seeing this opportunity to monetize off of his passing, and it's honestly very disgusting what they're doing. And they taking advantage of the situation, and like they just milking him off, milking it. Oh my God! You had this female YouTuber that his so-called claimed to be his so-called friend. The girl starts with an M and ends with a K. She had a stream. When I was seeing her, and I could tell this girl is so phony. Like she's not genuine at all. She doesn't care about Kevin Samuel. She was posting the stream about him passing away, and she had her stream up for like at least an hour, right? And she was repeating herself over and over again. And I'm just listening like, yo, this woman is milking the shit out of his death. Like, she didn't say, at one point she's like, don't give me any money, don't put any money in my chat, don't put it, but she didn't disable, because there's a way you could disable super chats, and she didn't disable, she was still getting money in, and she said it once or twice, and after that she didn't say it anymore. And then she was talking about his death, and she was repeating herself, like, she was not changing the subject. I'm like, why is she milking the shit out of his death? And then I posted it in the comment section. I was like, stop the channel, stop milking his death. I literally said that. I said that I posted it in the comment section, in the live chat. I said, stop milking his death. This is disgusting. And she's like, okay, I don't want to talk about this anymore. And then she closed the chat. I kid you not. I posted that in her live chat. I said, you need to stop milking this man's death because you're opportunistic. Like, you're basically seeing this at an advantage, taking advantage of this man's death, and you're milking the shit out of it. And I find it to be frankly disgusting. And that's why I really believe it was an inside job, because it's like you got all these YouTubers that are like basically are they are all planning to. It's like they're all using Kevin Samuel's name to milk the shit out of his death, and they're not talking about anything different. But all the time they just mentioning his name, and they're not even showing any type of sympathy towards the passing. Because when you really lost a friend, when you really have a friend that you lost, right? And it affects you deeply. You're not gonna be on YouTube the next day making a video about their passing. You're gonna take time. You're gonna take time off from YouTube to mourn, to grieve about the passing of your friend, and you're not gonna ask for any type of money. You're not gonna ask for super chats. You're not gonna ask for donations. You're not gonna ask for any type of like monetary. You're not gonna try to get any monetary gain from the passing of your friend because you're not gonna be happy about that. So the fact that they're milking the shit out of his death just tells you that they saw the opportunity, and they see this as an opportunity for them to profit off of his death, which leads me to believe it was an inside job because a true friend wouldn't do that. So that's the reason why I believe it was more than that. And yeah, these people are a bunch of phonies, man. They're not his real friend. Like I said, the so called attorney that he claims to be, when he used to be a rapper, is just threatening other YouTubers, saying that he's gonna sue whoever come on this trying to come after Kevin Samuels, whoever talks against him and all this stuff. Are you going to threaten to sue them? You know, he knows if he really knows what he's talking about. If he knows the truth about fair use, he wouldn't come out and threaten to sue people. But that if you threaten people, people are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I support you. Yeah, you go after those haters. Go after those people who are trying to talk down to Kevin Samuels and anybody who trying to come against you, saying that you're this and that. Yeah, sue them. Threaten to sue them. Threaten to get their channel flagged, get their channel removed, ban them, and all that stuff. No, you're just saying that because you have a large platform and you got a lot of people that are gonna side with you because they believe that you are his friend, your so-called friend of Kevin Samuel. So they're gonna want to support you because they believe you have his back. When you don't have his back, you clearly don't have his back, and you're nothing but a shark because you smell blood and you're coming back for more. Like I said, once a shark smells blood, it's gonna come back for more. It's gonna come for the kill, and that's what he is. He's a shark, and he's in a predatory, like he's a predator, and this man don't even have any standards to stand on because he also have multiple baby mothers, right? And he just like to exploit people for his own selfish gains. So, like I said, I believe this was honestly, this is an inside job. This man was murdered, man. Like, if anything, yeah, they saw it as an opportunity to completely take everything for what he has, and they're gonna keep making videos and make it seem like, oh, they care about him, but at the end of the day, they're all in it for their own selfish reasons, and they are opportunist. They're opportunistic. Like, they're gonna see this Kevin Samuels death as an opportunity for them to milk him off his money. You know what I mean? So, like I said, please donate to the Cash App, $ being resilient. That's $. It's in the title. Any donations will be gladly appreciated. And I want to make a separate video because I don't know if the other video my audio wasn't so clear, but if you guys get the message, if it was hard for you guys to hear what I said, please let me know. And I'll make a separate video and go into and just I'll make another video about it and you know expand more on it. But yeah, like I said, like you gotta be careful what you put out there, and you gotta be careful of the things you say because life and death lies in the power of the tongue. And when you say, "Oh, I'm going to hell," and all of you gonna be there with me, gonna join me there, it's really bad because you're Yeah, exactly. Without Kevin, these guys don't have content. Exactly, man. Without Kevin, man, they will cease to exist. They're only reason they're like I said, these people are fake, man. Because without them putting Kevin Samuels in their title or talk about him, they wouldn't get anybody to watch their video. They're gonna keep making videos for the next year about Kevin and react to all his videos because a lot of these YouTubers aren't as good. Yeah, exactly, Tucker. Exactly, man. They're gonna keep milking it. They're gonna keep milking it. They're gonna try to ride the wave as long as they can. And like I said, they're sharp because once they smell blood, they're gonna keep coming back for more. And they're like, okay, he's passing is a great opportunity for me to capitalize off of his death, and that's what they're doing. Like they are talking about his passing, and like I said, this female YouTuber that was his so-called friend, when he passed away, she made a live stream like right after. And my question, another red flag, huge red flag, was that who put the news out there that he died, because his same mom claimed that he didn't find out about his passing until she saw the news of him dying on social media. So my question is, who was responsible for putting that news out there that he died? Because if anybody should know about his passing first of all, that would be his own family, his mother, his daughter. How is it that they didn't find about his passing, but after that information was put out there to the media? And it was just like, nah. If these friends were really his friend, they would have kept that information hidden. They wouldn't just speculate. They wouldn't just come out flat out and say, "Oh, there's a chance that he would have passed away." This seems just so planned out and orchestrated, because it's like this female YouTuber, I don't want to say her name for obvious reasons, but her name starts with an M and ends with a K. She was making a video talking about, oh, if anybody come out with this accusation that he passed away, you're gonna get it from me. You're not gonna like this. You're not gonna like this. You're gonna get a rude awakening. All this nonsense. And then all of a sudden, she receives a text or a phone call confirming that he passed away. She's like, "Oh my God, I actually got confirmation that he died." I'm like, "What? This doesn't add up. How is it that you get confirmation and then you're speculating at the same time? That doesn't add up." Like, this is a huge red flag, man. I'm like, who's the person that was responsible for putting that information out there that he died? And then after she allegedly got this confirmation that he passed away, right? She kept the video on. Like, instead of her like saying, "You know what, I can't continue with this live stream because I gotta mourn the passing of my friend and I can't capitalize off of his death." Instead of her doing it, if it was a real friend would say, "You know what, I can continue with this live stream. I gotta cut this live stream to pay respect to the passing of my friend." Instead of her doing that, she kept the live stream on for at least an hour, and she was just there, just milking it. Like, and I'm just sitting there like, I was watching the live stream, and I was just sitting there like, yo, like this, she's an opportunistic. She just milking it, and then she kept talking about the same thing. Like, she wasn't changing the subject. She wasn't talking about how they're gonna proceed to pay for the funeral, and how like basically she wasn't talking about anything else but the passing of him. And like I said before, I had to write. It got so bad to the point where I just said, you know what, I'm tired of this. I posted in our comment in our live stream that, yo, stop milking his death. Just cut the stream off ASAP. I said something along the lines of that, and then she said, "Okay, all right, I'll stop the stream," because I was so fed up with the fact that she was there, broadcasting his death on live stream, and that she was just milking it and using his death as a means to make money off. It was flat out disgusting, and I called her out for it, and she stopped the stream like shortly after when I called her out in the live stream. Cause I'm like, yo, why is it that she's still talking about his death? I thought, okay, let me give her about 30 minutes to And after I came back after 30 minutes, she was still talking about his death. And I'm like, no way. Like, you don't really care about this man. You don't care. A true friend would never do that. A true friend would never have a live stream about somebody they really care about and love um on for that long. And especially they would have disabled their super chat. You wouldn't be able to give them money. They would be like, nope, I don't want to take any money because somebody who I love and who's true and dear to me had just passed away, and out of respect, I don't want any donations from any of my followers. She would have said that, but she never once. She said it on. She claimed she did say something along lines a few, but it wasn't. She did. If she really, really wanted to follow through, she would have disabled the super chats, but she didn't. She still collected money out of his death. So yeah, she's a phony. Let me read this comment right here. You said, I'm surprised the escort wasn't arrested and now she's trying to make money off of his death. Exactly. Why is it that this so called escort that he was dealing with, why wasn't she not questioned at the crime of the scene? Why wasn't she not put under investigation? Why she wasn't being detained by detectives to find out who she was, why was she in that apartment, and what transpired during that time that she was with Kevin Samuel? Why they didn't get information about her? But now all of a sudden she's charging people if they want to get some information about what happened. She, like I said, she charging DJ Academics. She charged DJ Academics $5,000 for just to have just for her to have a conversation with him. That is very, very suspicious. Yeah, and I'm like, if that was a man, let's say the roles were reversed, and Kevin Samuels was with this so-called escort, and she died of a cardiac arrest, right? Kevin Samuels would be brought in for questioning. He would have been persecuted. He would have been assumed guilty unless proven innocent. It wouldn't have been innocent until proven guilty. He would have been guilty until proven innocent. Because when you're a black man, it's not you're innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty until proven innocent. But she was assuming innocent and she wasn't being proven guilty, which is crazy to me because if anybody should be looked at with a red eye, it would be her. But no, nobody looked at her with a red eye, man. Nobody looked at her with a red eye. Nobody questioned her and said, like, what really took place during that time that she was there with him in that apartment. And one thing, like I said before, that really stood out for me was that the way she was acting so belligerent towards the 911 operator, it's like it showed a sense of guilt about her. She was just acting very strange and very belligerent towards them. She was not being cooperative. They was asking her questions like, "Can you give me the address of where you are?" She's like, "I don't know what the address is." How you don't know what the address is if you had to know where the address is in order to meet up with this man? And she didn't give them the apartment number. She was like, I can't do it. I'm doing compression. If you was doing compression, you wouldn't be able to talk because you gotta apply force when you're applying compressions. Because like I said, I work in the healthcare field. I've worked in a hospital, and when you're performing compressions, man, like you can't be able to speak at the same time while you're on the phone. And when the operator was on the phone talking to her and counting down, you didn't hear her counting down saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. She was not counting alongside with the operator. This woman was not performing CPR on that man, yo. She stood there and watched him die out. And time was just wasting. Like every single second count when it comes down to saving somebody lives when they are having a cardiac arrest or they're not breathing on their own. Like every second counts. Like you gotta react quickly. And if you're a nurse, you're trained on how to handle those type of situations. Like your instinct automatically kicks in and you know what's the right thing to do. But she appeared to be she was frantic. She was scared. She seemed bewildered. She wasn't sure what she was doing, and that's not conducive to what a nurse is. Like she didn't show any type of restraint when it came down to how she handled the situation. with his passing, and that's a huge red flag to me. But yeah, like you said in the chat, yeah, I'm surprised she hasn't been arrested. And how is it that everything is? Oh, here's another thing that also like ring alarm bells to me was that this so-called attorney claimed, oh, anybody coming after this woman to say that she was involved with his death will be sued for defamation. Don't ever come after her. And that's a huge red flag, because if you're a friend of Kevin Samuel, you would want to know who this so-called escort of his was, and like what happened. You would have tried to figure out, was she directly involved with his death. If you was a so-called lawyer, right? If you so-called had this credential and you was a friend of Kevin Samuel, you will want to get to the bottom of it. But no, he's coming out trying to threaten anybody to file a lawsuit saying, if you come after any content creator that are saying, if you're like accusing anybody of doing something wrong, I'm gonna file a lawsuit against you, and don't come after this woman because you be charged for defamation. And I'm like, you trying to protect this woman? I'm just sitting there like, oh, you trying to protect this woman? So that means you was in cahoots with this woman, because if you were a friend of Kevin Samuel, if you were a real friend of Kevin Samuel, you would be along the line. You would agree that people need to question her. You would actually have a case filed against her to like see why was she there in the apartment, to kind of get to the bottom of it, and find out, was she directly involved with his death. But no, you coming out trying to defend her honor. So that tells me that there's a sense of guilt there, and that's why I believe it was an inside job. That's one of the main reasons why I believe it was an inside job, because he's trying to protect this escort. And another thing too, this escort claimed to be a nurse, right? And like I said, if you're a nurse, you've been trained on how to properly perform CPR. You know how to handle those type of situations. They train you on multiple occasions. So it's not like something that is a first time thing that you do. It's like you've seen it so many times. It's like you could do it in the back of your hand. Like you could have your hands tied behind your back and you will know how to perform CPR. If you were trained, if you were a so-called nurse and you was trained on how to do it, which they are required to train you on, you would know what to do. You wouldn't have this panic about you. You remain calm and collected, and you would know how to handle yourself as a nurse. But she was the polar opposite of that. She was not calm. She was not collected. She was frantic. She was confused. She didn't even know what to do. It was so bad to the operator had to show her how to properly perform a CPR, and it was telling her the way to do it, and she didn't know how to. She wasn't even counting down right. They have to tell her, oh, you have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So that tells me that she was not no nurse. Somebody came. It was all planned out, man. It was all planned out. His death was an inside job. His death was an inside job, bro. And I don't believe. I don't. Who do you think it is? It was. I can't, like, honestly. I believe, I don't want to say names because of for obvious reasons. But I believe it's several people that were involved. It was several people involved with his death. I believe it was several people. It was, I don't think that guy had anything to do with it. I don't think that guy had anything, that AN guy, the one that you mentioned, the last name with Daniel. I don't think he had anything to do with it, because I never really saw him really hang out with Kevin Samuels personally like that. I remember, he had a few like live chat with Kevin Samuels in it, but I don't know if he ever personally met with Kevin Samuel in the flesh. The people who I believe had a hands in the pie, so to speak, were the female YouTuber, starts with an M, ends with a K,
and then that so-called attorney of his, the one that is threatened to file lawsuit against those who come against Kevin Samuel, him, me, the guy with the MT at the end, I believe he also has something to do with it. I don't, like I said, I want to protect myself because I don't want them. Even though it's fair use, right? They have a larger following, so they could like abuse the system, and it's basically you got to protect yourself in this YouTube streets. But I believe it was a collaborative effort, and a lot of people were in cahoots to kill this man, and it's just so sickening because like I said, a real friend is not gonna live make a live stream about the passing of somebody they truly care about. They wouldn't ask for any type of donation. They would disable their their super chats. They would have disabled every money that's coming in. They wouldn't accept any type of donations. They would have been, nope, I don't want any money because it's just out of respect of somebody that I care about. I don't want any type of donation. And in fact, if any type of money they would get, they would have gave it towards the proceedings of his family. They're like, this money is gonna go towards not even the super chats. They wouldn't have. They would first of all they would disable it in the first place. But it would have created a separate page, and it would have asked, okay, any type of donations will go towards the family of Kevin Samuel, like his daughter, his mother, and towards the funeral costs and all that. They would have made a separate page, and it would have been a link directly to the mother or the daughter. You would have known for a fact it's going directly to them. But no, none of them did that. None of them created their own that you call it like a GoFundMe page or something where the proceedings will go directly to the family that were affected with his passing. But no, they are making videos, you know what I mean? Like multiple videos talking about, oh, I'm sorry about Kevin Samuel dying, and showing this fake sense of sympathy, like a fake sense of sympathy. Just don't care about him, man. They don't care about him. Yeah, and you said, yeah, she wasn't a nurse. She was an escort, aka milking nurse. Exactly, man. She was not a nurse, bro. Like she was not a nurse. Tucker, yeah, she was not a nurse. She's a milking nurse. So she's just trying to get as much milk out of the situation. Like she's a shark, man. She's a shark. Like she smells blood, and she's coming back for more. She's coming back for more. Man, these people are a bunch of sharks, man. Like, she's milking the hell out of the situation, because like I said, she was charging DJ Academics $5,000. She charges this man $5,000 to discuss what happened, and then she said she's lawyered up supposedly, and she's not gonna discuss anything that took place, and she not going into any details because she has a lawyer, and she the only way you could have a talk with her is if you pay her money. These people are opportunist. Like I can't pronounce that word. That was strip me up, but you get what I'm saying. They are capitalized off of his death, man. They're capitalizing off of his death, and it's sick. It's disgusting, and it's messed up, man. It's wrong on so much levels, bro. And yeah, these people are not his real friends. They're fake, man. They're phony. They're not his real friends. They're really not his real friend, man. Um, and like I said, please donate to the Cash App. Any donations will godly appreciated. It's in the title. Dollar sign being resilient. Please donate anything from $10, $20, 30, 40. Anything will be appreciated, man, because I'm gonna come up with more videos, man. There's a lot more topics that I'm gonna be talking about. Various topics. I'm not gonna just talk about just one person. And like I said, a lot of these YouTubers are like they seizing this opportunity, man. They're like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to jump in to get the subscribers from Kevin Samuel because he's no longer alive. So I'm just gonna fish and get as much subscribers from him, and they smell the blood, and they out for the kill, man. So yeah, they're seizing the opportunity, man, and it's sickening. Because if you're a friend of his, you wouldn't talk about his passing like that. You wouldn't. Matter of fact, you wouldn't take time off of YouTube to mourn about his death. Like if you were really truly his friend, right, and you was deeply hurt about his passing, you would take time off from YouTube. You would take at least a 1 week hiatus, a 2 week hiatus. You would take time off to mourn about his death, to grieve, to get time to take your mind off, so you could be able to mentally be able to cope with what was going on. But you could see, man, these YouTubers are phonies, man. They're a bunch of sharks, man. Like I said, they're just going in for the kill, man, because they smell blood in the water, man, and they're out for the kill. Like I said, yeah, they're not really his friends, man, because no friends do that. You know what I mean? And it's so wrong and messed up. And they all saw this as an opportunity to capitalize of his passing. It's just these people are fake. That's why I said I don't really hang out with people. This is why I stay to myself and I keep my circle. I don't really keep a circle, bro, because most people are fake. Most people are really not there for you for the right reasons, and people only want you for what you can do for them. They don't truly care about you as a person. They don't really genuinely care about you as a person. And a lot of times people pretend to be your friend in order to get close to you. And now once they get close to you, they see that as an opportunity to exploit you, man. And it's sickening, man. It's just really is dog eat dog world out here, man. And that's what it is, man. And people are really out here to get a piece of the pie, yo. When it comes on to Kevin, because they see that, yo, the people who followed Kevin Samuel, his subscribers, they're gonna try to look up. They're gonna try to find someone else that resemble. Or not. Nobody could come close to what Kevin Samuel did, but they're gonna look for another so-called hero that is similar to Kevin Samuel, and they're gonna associate with people that knew him, like the M King, that female YouTuber. People that associated with him, um, yeah, they're gonna try to, like, they're gonna try to, like, gravitate towards those people. They're gonna be like, oh, we're gonna have to find somebody that knew him, like that closely is linked to Kevin Samuels. So these people are just saying, I'm gonna try to get as much subscribers from him, from Kevin Samuels, because he had a large following. Let me read your comment. You said these manosphere guys only care about women and money. It's a huge grift. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these people in the manosphere, man, they talk about a lot of the same things. You know what I mean? When it comes down to women, it comes down. They talk about the female nature, and there's a lot of guys who resonate with that. And I don't really identify. I don't really put myself in that category of the manosphere, the so-called manosphere, because there's a lot of people who have infiltrated that movement, and it's a cash cow. It's honestly, the whole manosphere movement is a bunch of cash cow grabber seeking attention people. And they're not really talking about the real issue that men are going through. And I relate more to the black pill community. People who are been, like, ostracized, been stereotyped out by women, are those who have tried to better themselves but still don't get recognized for whatever reason. I relate more to the black pill community than anything else, but I don't like to claim any type of label. Like, I feel like whatever you go through is unique to you, and you shouldn't be putting yourself in these categories, because when you become a part of, like, a group, it becomes cult. It becomes like a cult, and you got, like, a lot of cult like followers who gravitate towards these, like, major YouTubers, like these popular YouTubers. And it's like these people look up to these YouTubers like they're a god. And when it came down to Kevin Samuels, he had a lot of his followers that referred to him as the Godfather. And I'm like, how can you call a mere mortal man a Godfather? someone that is not going to live forever, someone that is flawed in their ways, someone that is gonna be returning back to the dirt. Like, how you gonna call a mere man a god? The only Godfather I know is Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Like, that's the only Godfather I know. Though the only Godfather is the Father in heavens, the Kings of Kings and Lord of Lords. If Kevin Samuel was a so-called Godfather, he'd be able to resurrect himself from the grave. But we know that after the death comes the judgment, and there's no repentance in the grave. And like I said in my dream that I had, he was being tortured by demons in hell. He was in this huge pit, and demons were throwing spears at him and just torturing him. And if he was a so-called Godfather, he'd be able to rescue himself out of that predicament. But there's no hope for him. There's no hope after that. So the fact that people are still referring to him as the Godfather is just ridiculous to me. It's frankly just blasphemous, because the only true Godfather I know is Jesus Christ, and there's no other Godfather besides him. Yeah, it is a cult. Yeah, you're right, Tucker. It's a cult. Now everyone thinks Kevin followers are incels. They just big mad at women. It's weird. Yeah, like a lot of people are grouping followers of Kevin Samuels into this one category. Like, everybody who follows Kevin Samuels are a bunch of incels. And you know how there are men who are frustrated that can't get women. They so called were fans of his, and how, like, the media like to paint a certain image about people who identify. That's why I didn't want to be in a part of that group, because it's like the media always paint a negative image about people who identify with the manosphere. They're like, oh, people that identify with the manosphere are a bunch of incels that are ready to like go up and shoot up a bunch of random people, because the news that the news about that man that went into that subway station and shot up a whole bunch of people. They found out that he was a follower of Kevin Samuels, and they started painting the image that a lot of these followers of Kevin Samuels are like a bunch of incels, and they are one step away from harming innocent people. Let me see. Armor Up said, "What do you think about Nature Boy being in jail? Type in Nature Boy jail later. Some people said Nature Boy has a cult." Oh, I watched the news about that, about him being in jail, and oh yeah, that man is definitely a cult like lead. He's definitely a cult leader. Like, he created a cult of these women that are like worshiping him, like are like under his like some type of spell, and see him as this god. He's very similar to Kevin Samuels in a way that he had people that were like bound down to him. Like, people are calling Kevin Samuels the Godfather. That you basically idolizing this man, a mere mortal man, and similar to what Nature Boy represented. You had women that were like following him at his and begging and being there on his every plea. And you want to be with a woman that's submissive, but these women were like worshiping him like he was a deity. And he also had male people that, how you gonna have a bunch of men that was a part of your so-called cult, right? And these men are not surrounded by any woman, any type of woman, but yet they're at your begging call. Why you need these men for? These men don't have any women, but all the females that are in this so-called cult were with you, and these men were not with any women. And he was accused of doing all type of sick stuff, performing all type of very degenerate sick stuff, and sexually abusing his kids, and it was a sick man. So yeah, he's another sicko out that I just can't believe people allow themselves to be so easily deceived and manipulated into believing like a mere mortal man is a god. I can't, I don't even know why people refer to them as like refer to them as a god, because if you're a god, you're implying that you're immortal, that you're not free, you're not free from sickness, disease, and death. But we all know that we as mere mortal men, we're not immortal in our state. In matter of fact, we're very fragile human beings. Like anything could harm us. You know what I mean? And we're not we're not promised for we're not promised for tomorrow. Like people are not able to just survive everything. Um, and we're not, like I said, our days are numbered. While once we born, the time is taken off. Like nobody's gonna be living on this earth forever. So Nature Boy is another sick person, man. He's another whole different topic, man. Like I'm surprised they took them. It took so long for them to persecute this sicko, man, because he gathered a lot of cult like following. And he did a lot of sick stuff. And he was alleged to be with men while he was with women, and he acted like as if he was this macho man. But at the same time, you having a whole bunch of men in your cult, and you calling them, they're looking up to you, and these men don't have any woman with them. Why you need them in your cult for? It's to make it appear that you're helping other men, but all these women that he was with were like had his beck and call, and they was worshiping this man, yo. It was sickening, man. It was sickening, yo. Nature Boy is another sicko, yo. And yeah, I don't really. That's why I said I don't look up to any of these YouTubers, man. I don't follow any of these motherfuckers. Like I look at it and I just observe it from a distance, and I just say, man, the fact that people are worshiping these mere mortal beings as like supreme leaders, like it's just frightening to me that people are so gullible. Um, and they don't know how to think for themselves, and they just don't know how to stand on their own 2 feet. And you got people out here crying, mourning the death of Kevin Samuels like they knew him personally. Because when Kevin Samuels was alive, man, he created a lot of division within our own community. Like there were, like I said, I'm not gonna say that he didn't speak truth when it comes down to the unrealistic expectations of a lot of these women, because he had a lot of women that were calling him in his show that had like multiple kids by different baby daddies, and they're talking about how they were entitled to a high value man. They wanted a man that made at least 100,000 a year, and that man can't have any kids of his own. That man have to have a clean state. I'm like, wait, what do you have to offer? And I do like the fact that he called these women out on their BS, but at the same time, you you had a lot of contradictory statements. You made a lot of contradictory statements. You saying these women had to qualify to be wives, and you was trying to advocate for marriage, but at the same time you paying for escorts. This woman that you was allegedly with was an escort. She wasn't someone that you was involved with on a deeper level. You just wanted her for a night of pleasure, but this woman was in it for the money. She wasn't really in it for you, and she saw this opportunity to milk it, milk you off your money. And now after you're passing, she's charging she charged DJ Academics $5,000 for her to even come out and talk about what happened, which tells me that there's a level of guilt there. Because if you know you were innocent, why you need to charge somebody, and you're just seeing this opportunity to milk his death? So yeah, it's sickening, man. How people just allow themselves to be so easily influenced by these popular YouTuber and people who have a lot of following. They just fall into a cult. Yeah. Also, like I was saying again, please donate to the Cash App. It's in the title. Dollar sign being resilient. Any type of help will be gladly appreciated. 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 would be appreciated. I'm trying to get back on my feet. I've been having a rough past few weeks with these jobs I've been applying for. They've been denying my I've had interviews. I want to talk about that in a separate video. So I feel like I've been discriminated against. I feel like it's something going on. I don't know. Like race has a lot to do with it, but I don't. I'm not gonna say it's 100% that, but it doesn't play a factor.
and I'm trying to get back on my feet, and I'm trying to become my own boss, and I want to create my own YouTube channel. Like I want to, I'm not YouTube channel. I want to create my own platform because I believe there's a lot of fluff, a lot of things that are not being said that should be said, and God is not the author of confusion. And I was just looking at this like I've seen these YouTubers who create a following for themselves, and they just create a whole lot of confusion. Like I said, Kevin Samuel, he was really good at gathering a lot of followers, and like I say, I've never seen any YouTuber that was able to do it the way he did. But at the same time, he exploited his own people. It came down to when it came out, especially black women. A large group, um, a large percentage of black women are single mothers, right? He knew this off rip, and instead of him trying to bridge that gap and trying to help our community to get back together, I feel like he used that as an opportunity to exploit his own community, and he profited off of that, and it was very sickening because he created this mindset. He created this image and make these black women believe that they entitled. Not saying he did it, but he played a part in it because he created this whole high value man nonsense, and that how these women think they're entitled to high value men even though they don't have anything to show for it. They don't bring anything to the table. They feel like they deserve a high value man. And he made up a list of requirements you need to have in order to become a high value man. He said you got to make at least $10,000 every month for at least 2 years. You have to have like a very high status job, like a lawyer, a doctor, a scientist, and stuff like that. You got to have a network of people that you communicate with that also make a lot of money. And I'm like, wait, so you just pit a person based off their income, and you're saying if you don't make at least a certain amount of money, you're not a high value man. But last time I checked, there's a lot of people that are financially well off, but other areas of their life they're struggling. When it comes on to their family, they're either divorced or when it comes on to their health, they're not healthy. They're not in good state. They're low value in a lot of ways. So my definition of a high value man is not even based off income. Cause you could have somebody who make 50,000, 6,000, $60,000 a year, and their life is fruitful. They're out enjoying life. They're traveling. They're doing things that they love to do. They're healthy physically. Their family's intact. They know how to live. They live in a lot. Their life is being taken care of. Like they are happy with who they are, and they know how to sustain themselves. So a high value man nonsense, that the whole BS, man, was all to create division with their own community. And a woman now think that they're entitled to a man that makes a lot of money. They're looking for a unicorn, and they don't want to settle for a man that makes 50, $60,000 a year, a hardworking man. They think that they're above them now. And this nonsense arrogance like is the reason why our community is in shambles. But yeah, like I was saying, man, I believe Kevin Samuels was murdered, man. I really believe it was an inside job, man. I really believe it was an inside job. I don't care what anybody say, man. They all plotted against him, man, to kill this man. So if there's anything else you guys want to say, cause I don't want to like carry on the stream for too long. Anything else you guys wanted to say? Is there anything else you guys want to put into the chat? Because I want to make a separate video because I really believe that there's so much more stuff that has to be said, and I'm like I like to sit down and sit in the side and like observe what's going on, and I'm just seeing a lot of things that are just not right, man. A lot of things that is wrong with society. There's a lot of things I want to talk about. There's different topics I want to discuss that I believe needs to be addressed, and people don't want to speak the truth anymore. People are just so willing to just take half truth, or if it sounds good, this is true to them even though what the person is saying is not true. If it sounds good,
they just accept it as true. And I'm that type of person that, like, I don't just accept what people say as truth. Like, I don't care how popular you are as a YouTuber. I don't care what type of influence you have. I gotta be able to sit down and analyze what you say and, like, look into depth of what's going on and, like, make my own informed decisions about what you're saying, and see if it lines up with what God is saying or what is really going on. Because I'm the type of person like to look at reality for what it really was or for what it is. And a lot of times, just saying things like, like, you got people who have been laid off. You got people who haven't been able to even work like, they can't even, they've been, for whatever reason, even when it came down to the vaccine mandate, they're not able to find a regular, get back to work, because a lot of these companies are denying them a job because they're like, oh, you need to get the vaccine or else. But yet you have, those who are struggling to make ends meet because the government is not making it easy for them. And another thing too that I find that's very messed up about this country is they're willing to donate billions and billions of dollars to other countries like Ukraine. I understand they're and they need help, but when it comes down to their own people, the government is not even willing to help their own people out. They're not willing to donate any type of money to help out their own people. We had to fight so hard to even get a freaking stimulus check. A freaking stimulus check that not even that much to cover 1 month's worth of rent. So it's very difficult, man, to really trust in this government, man. And that's why I don't really, like I said, there's so much stuff that's wrong that I really want to address in my channel. And I feel like there's so much situations that are just out of whack. But I digress. Let me go back to the topic. Kevin Samuels was I believe he was killed, and I honestly believe there's a lot of holes in the story, and I really hope that they, when the toxicology report comes out, um, the truth is gonna come out. What's in darkness must come to light eventually, and I hope that she faced the full extent of the law. She gets prosecuted. I'm surprised nobody's questioning her, and there's no detectives that have questioned her. Because she's getting lawyered up. Like, if you know you're innocent, why do you need to get a lawyer to defend yourself? Because the truth will come out eventually. So why is it that you need to get lawyered up? And you got this so-called attorney that's trying to protect her, like he knows her personally. If you are a friend of Kevin Samuel, you wouldn't even come out of your way to try to protect somebody who was allegedly involved with his death. You would try to try to get to the truth, the bottom of it, and try to find the truth out as to why he was killed, or why he was not supposedly killed, but why he died. But yeah, I think I've gone on for too long. If there's anything else you guys want to say, you could put in the community section. There's another. I want to make a separate video about some other topic. Also, I'm gonna talk about more explanation about the dream I had, cause the other video I made about my vision of seeing Kevin Samuels out, like the video was very choppy. I heard it was. I realized that my voice was going in and out, so I want to make a separate video about that, and I want to expand more about that, and I want to use scriptures and stuff like that to also expand on that situation. But it's scary, man. It's scary. Yeah, it's very scary. I saw you retracted the comments. I don't know why you retracted the comments, man. But thank you guys for the support. Like I said once again, please donate to the Cash App. Dollar sign being resilient is in the title of the video. Any type of donation would be gladly appreciated. I'm trying to get back on my feet, but I want to become my own boss, and I really want to start this YouTube thing going. Because I believe there's like not many people out here that are really speaking the truth and really saying what really is on their heart. They just sugarcoating stuff, and they're trying to be politically correct. And there's a lot of things that need to be said. I feel like it's not being said. But anyways, I'm gonna end this video, end this stream. Come out with another video soon, so stay tuned. just keep an eye out for that. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the comments. I appreciate it. Hope it makes help somebody out, and be on the lookout for more. All right, take care. Bye.